Ella Henderson first appeared in our lives on X Factor in 2012. Then, a couple of years later, she brought us a debut chart hit, Ghosts, which topped the charts in 2014. Moving forward to 2020, following a string of hits, collaborations, and nominations, Ella is back with her brand new track. And she joins us now. Ella, welcome. Hello. How are
Hello,
you
how are
doing?
we
You all right?
doing?
Yeah, good. Are you
I'm
okay?
good. Yeah, good, thank you.
I
How are
feel
you?
like we're about to have a lot of cross Zoom wires as we go through
I know.
today.
That's the trouble with these Zooms.
Now, one thing that I've realized as we go into like the latter part of 2020, if I look back over the last few years, we seem to have a situation where we go to like the tail end of a year and you produce an anthem pretty much to be like the tail end, do you know what I mean, of every year. So back in 2015, you were with Sigma with Glitterball. Last year, Jax Jones and This Is Real. We got Love with Sigala. And now you're back with another one. There's going to be a huge anthem at the end of the year.
Fingers crossed, I hope it is.
Your new track is
No,
with
go.
Roger Sanchez, and that is called Dream on Me. This, of course, has a huge nod to Roger Sanchez's biggest track from back in the day, Another Chance. Tell me how this collaboration came about, Ella.
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of his and this record, Another Chance. And I feel like it was the summer this year that we all never had. It was such a weird summer, not being able to socialize and see our friends and be with our loved ones, a lot of us. So when I actually eventually got back into the studio, I was kind of keeping my 2 meter distance with a young producer that I work with a lot, Jordan Riley. And we was listening to the record and I was like, oh, we should do something like this. And he ended up stripping the track apart, and I got on the mic and ended up just writing the song. And we ended up loving it, and I loved it. And I came away and I was like, do you know what? I want to get in touch with Roger and see if this is even possible. So we did that, and that could have gone one or two ways. Either he'd have absolutely been so insulted that I tried to touch this record because it's such a sick song anyway. But I think he was excited about it, and I think like bringing it back and kind of like doing it like in a different way, and especially having like a UK female singer on it when it's like a US dance chart record. But it's mad because this song came out when I was like 5 years old. So like it's weird how it's such like a pinnacle dance record for me, even though it came out when I was so young.
For me, Ella, I am actually a little bit older than you, and I was DJing at the time when this tune actually came out. And the thing is with it, it was huge from the very first time I ever played it and the first time I watched it be played. And
Yeah.
you can pretty much guarantee as you've gone through the years, I know like clubbing in 2020 is weird, but you can pretty much track this tune all the way through, and the reaction to it is always massive. When it comes actually, you've jumped ahead with where I wanted to go with this, but I'm interested, right? When it comes to collabs, Ella, you said about you directly spoke to Roger Sanchez. Is that like how it normally works? Because I imagined it would be people would talk to people, would talk to people. Do you see what I mean? But is that how it works? You just directly communicate?
Well, I think every situation's been a bit different. I mean, when I did the record with Jax Jones, we wrote that song. His wife actually used to babysit me back in the village I come from in Lincolnshire. So we knew each other before I was on X Factor and before he was ever a DJ as Jax Jones. So we wrote This Is Real before both of us ever had any hits. So it was kind of surreal as both releasing it like where we are today as artists, which was really nice to release a record with a mate. Sigala, that kind of happened through management. So each one's different, but this one in particular, I guess because of lockdown, I just kind of followed Roger on Instagram. Got my team did email the track over, and I was like, "Hey, just wanted to introduce myself. You might not have heard of me before. My name's Ella. I've had a few tunes out, and I've like kind of reinvented your track, and would love to know what you think about it." And he loved it, so that was mega exciting. And I never expected him to like come on board with it as well, like for him to actually be featuring on it, and he's going to like be doing a remix soon of the song as well, which I'm mega excited to hear. It's really cool because it's like a cool mixture of old and new. And when you think of like, I brought Emanike in to help me finish the record after I'd kind of written the basics of it. So it's got like such a positive, like very young vibe to it, and then it's also got like the classic, I guess, Ibiza-esque iconness of Mr. Sanchez on there.
With like you said about like lockdown and the way you were working in the studio for like the first time in a while, lockdown's kind of affected us all in weird and different and really unexpected ways when we started the year. What about you? How have you taken lockdown as we've gone through the last few months?
Yeah, it's been a weird one. I know it has for many of us, but I think for me, like, I actually did the majority of lockdown back at my parents in Lincolnshire. I was home with the family, which was really nice for me because normally I'm living such a scheduled, fast-paced like lifestyle, and to actually just slow everything down and simplify everything, I felt my most creative, and I also just felt like having a brew with my mum is exactly what I needed, and I could just kind of slowed the pace down a little bit. And it's the simple things that matter. And I think a lot of us realised that during lockdown.
Have you developed any new hobbies or anything through lockdown? I started to try and paint, something I've wanted to do in ages. It turns out I'm not very good
Really?
at, but I at least gave it a go. Anything for you?
I wouldn't say necessarily hobbies, but I definitely like family is such a big thing for me. I come from a family of four siblings, and I'm the youngest. And I think after being home for so long, even now, like I just like having them be a part of my life is so much more important than I think it ever has been to me now. Because I realise how much without them around me during lockdown, I would have gone insane. So for me, family like is the biggest thing that I've taken away from it and realised how important they are in my life.
And with this new record, Dream on Me, one of the theme of it basically is about longing for the people that you miss. So is this a track that is directly consequential because of COVID? I mean, I think you've kind of already said, I think you were just kind of riffing really and it came about. It's not something you'd pre-planned long
Yeah.
before, I think, is it?
Yeah, I didn't necessarily pre-plan it, but I think I had the hook and I had this chorus idea and I started singing the lyrics Dream on Me. And it was one of the hottest summer days this year when I wrote it. And I think when it did come about, I was missing my mates. I was missing going to the pub. I was missing having a dance with them all. So I guess this song is like my dedicated song to all my friends, and for everyone to have the opportunity to have a dance party in your living room or kitchen at home, because obviously we can't be out after 10 now.
No, that is true. It's a bit of a scupper on the old nightlife. Just the other thing I wanted to ask too, with kind of everything that's going on in terms of like music promotion and things. I've worked in this job for a long time. You've been doing what you've been doing for a long time, and we're suddenly in a situation now where a lot of things are happening via Zoom rather than in like face to face when it comes to plugging records and stuff. But what else in the music industry do you feel is like directly changed in the last few months?
I mean, performing is the weirdest one, and touring. Like, there's not knowing when I can get up on stage again in front of people and sing and do what I do for a living is really crazy. And also for all the crew and the team around me that put them shows together. Like, life is quite scary for them at the moment. Like, they literally have no income, which is really really sad. And trying to come up ways of like keeping their job roles kind of to keep going at the moment is very surreal. And even as as a punter, like I miss going to a gig and watching other artists perform. I think it's like such an amazing way we socialize and we come together as a unit, and like people from all different backgrounds come into the same show, to the same gig, to see the same artists. There's something really special about that, which obviously we can't have crowds right now, understandable, but it's very surreal to think how that's gonna ever return, and when it does, how it's done.
Well, I'm hopeful that your track with Roger Sanchez, Dream on Me, turns into the big autumn anthem that I'm expecting that it will do. But I'm also hoping that it's
Mhm.
still a huge anthem when we get back in clubs and we can really enjoy it on big sound systems with big DJs, how it's supposed to be heard. Ella, really best of luck with the track, and thank you very much for
Thank
joining
you.
us today.